What's up, everybody? My name is TJ, and welcome to Hoops and Holler. Today, we're going to be talking about the Utah Jazz and their roster and kind of my expectations for the team going forward. So they've got Kyle Anderson, Mr. Slow-Mo himself. They've got Mo Bamba, who unfortunately never really lived up to the potential that he had coming out, right? He is a hyper long player that had developed a good shot blocking instinct, and so a lot of people expected him to become a good defensive player, but he kind of never really developed into what anybody was wanting. That was around the same time that Bol was coming out, and people thought he was going to be this big time star with 3-level scoring and all this stuff, and he never really panned out either. So I think that he's a good piece to have, but isn't necessarily going to be a starter or a quality starter at the very least. They've got Svi Mykhailiuk. I can't tell you if I said that name right. I'm assuming I didn't, but he's a good shooter. You can't give him space on the outside, so that's some good floor spacing there. Isaiah Collier, Walter Clayton Jr. I liked watching him when he played for Florida last year. And I'm interested to see how he does in the NBA. Somebody that stepped up big in big moments. And I think that he has a ton of potential to be a all-star caliber guard in the NBA. You've got Ace Bailey, who had some controversy around him with his attitude and stuff whenever he first got drafted, but he's looked pretty good so far, and here early in the preseason, he looked really good from what I understand. You've got Kyle Filipowski, who is going into his second year in the league, and I think that he's got some potential as a post-up player. We've got Lauri Markkanen, who ended up being more than what I think people kind of expected him to be, at least on the perimeter. But he's a pretty solid player. He doesn't rebound super well, according to the stats here from last year, but at 7'1", he'll add some useful height to a team that's already pretty big. They've got Walker Kessler, who showcased himself as a pretty solid double-double type of guy, crashes the glass, a solid shot blocker. They've got Bryce Sensabaugh. They've got Yusuf Nurkic. Nurkic, whenever Jokic first came into the league, Nurkic was who started in front of him, I believe, and he never really worked out past that, whether it be health issues or whatever may be the case. I believe for Portland, he was close to being an all-star level center, if not an all-star level center, but injuries quickly derailed that. It's got George Niang. I seem to recall when he first got into the NBA, him having trouble finding a home because he had like a fear of flights or something like that. But he's always been a pretty solid player, and definitely the kind of guy that I would like to have on my team as a rotational piece. They've got Oscar Tshiebwe, who played really well in college, and I think that he has a ton of potential to be a solid player here in the NBA as well. And then, of course, they've got Kevin Love, who at this point in his career really doesn't get much playing time, but he's shown to be a pretty solid leader and a veteran presence on a young team that could really use the leadership from somebody who has been to the championship level and won a couple of rings. So I think that this is a pretty solid team as far as the potential this team has for future years. Unfortunately, this year, I'm not expecting a ton out of them. I think this team is one of those teams, kind of like Portland, where if the stars align, could be a fringe playoff team. But as far as past that, I don't expect much. But in the coming years, I think as guys like Walter Clayton Jr. and Ace Bailey and Kyle Filipowski, Walker Kessler, as these guys start to develop, I think this team is going to get more and more difficult to deal with because they've got size. They've got depth. There's a lot of young talent on this team that can develop. So I think that this team has a good potential future in the NBA. But that's all for my thoughts on this team. If you want to contribute to the conversation, feel free to leave a comment. If you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you.